guys, and welcome back to HairHoney. So today I wanted to talk to you about the 4 phases of hair growth and hair loss, technically. There are the ANAGEN phase, the CATAGEN phase, the TELOGEN phase, and the ANAGEN phase. So we're going to go through each of these phases, and I can talk to you guys a little bit more about how hair loss happens, where it gets stalled, where the process really starts to come into play. So the first phase is the ANAGEN phase, which is the growth phase, and it's stages of hair growth beginning with the ANAGEN phase. It's the longest phase in all of the phases, and it lasts about 3 to 5 years. It differs for different types of hair on the body. So the hair on the scalp lasts about 3 to 5 years, whereas the other hairs on the body typically have a much shorter ANAGEN phase. During this phase, your hair follicles are pushing out the hairs that will continue to grow until they reach the end of their life cycle or until they are cut. About 90% of our hairs on a healthy person that isn't experiencing hair loss should be at the ANAGEN phase pretty much at any given time. In this phase, new hair is formed and pushes out the hair that is no longer growing. So it's really cyclical, and you'll see how it's kind of confusing to understand these stages just due to the fact that they're kind of all happening simultaneously, even though they're their own phases. Down here, you can see the blood supply, and here's the follicle connected to the root, and it's getting the blood supply, which is exactly what our hair needs in order to grow. It needs good blood supply, good nutrition, and just a healthy scalp environment. The CATAGEN phase is a transition phase, and this phase starts when the ANAGEN phase ends. It only lasts about 10 days to 3 weeks, and during this phase, the hair follicles shrink and hair growth slows. Follicles detach from the blood supply, and the hair separates from the bottom of the follicle. Only about 5% of our hairs on our head are in this phase at any given time, and again, that is for healthy people who are not experiencing hair loss. So as you can see down here, guys, this little hair club is a little, basically like bulb that's starting, but it has just detached from the hair supply. The TELOGEN phase is the resting phase. Now, when you read about it, different people have different theories. There either is 3 phases of hair growth and hair loss, or 4. Now, I see it quite honestly as 3, but in this video, I did both 4. So it is technically the resting phase, and this resting phase lasts about 3 months. About 10 to 15% of our hair is always in this phase, and during this phase, hairs don't grow, but are supposed to fall out either by themselves or being brushed out, or just due to natural circumstances where the follicle detaches, the blood supply lacks, and the follicle starts to close up a little bit. So for those suffering from hair loss, this is the stage that would be most concerning because hairs are resting and falling and no new hairs are growing back. And another term for hair loss in this sense is tellogen effluvium. I always say that wrong no matter how many times I try. But that is also a type of hair loss. And that type of hair loss is different from male pattern baldness, female pattern baldness, androgenic alopecia, alopecia areata. So it's extremely different. For people that suffer from tellogen effluvium, it is most likely the result of your body undergoing stress, ongoing stress. It could have been from C19 or the flu. And a month after that you recover, you start to notice your hair falling out. Now, this type of hair loss is completely reversible and typically reverses on its own once the body has undergone the stress and released it from the body. And it should last about 3 months for the most part, and it should start growing back within 6 months. So for those of you who are suffering from tellogen effluvium, don't worry, it's coming back. I wish that was my type of hair loss, but unfortunately it is not. I'm sure that is part of my hair loss, but it is not the main reason for mine. So moving on to the next one, which some people lump these two together, is the ANAGEN phase, which is the shedding phase. It's an extension of the TELOGEN phase. Some people group these phases together. During this phase, the hair is shed from the scalp while new hairs are growing in the follicles, and the old hairs fall away. So as you can see down here, guys, there's like a little baby hair down here as this one is merging closer towards the surface of the skin, getting ready to release. In this phase, you should be losing about 50 to 100 hairs a day, which is typically normal. Now, for people who are experiencing hair loss, we usually lose more than 200 strands of hairs a day. And what is happening is that the ANAGEN phase is not kicking in, and so we are just losing hair rather than losing it and growing in new hair. So that is extremely problematic for the people that are going through this process of soul-wrenching hair loss. Now, the ANAGEN phase can last about 2 to 5 months, but this is totally dependent on your body or nutrition. Like, I know my body, due to my hair loss, it stays in the TELOGEN and the ANAGEN phase for quite some time because I'm seeing excessive shedding. Now, I am so good with my nutrition, like beyond what most people could believe is good. I am that good with my nutrition. And although I have seen some results in terms of reduced shedding, I have yet to see a lot of new hair growth from just nutrition-based things. Timelines for each of these can clearly be altered based on your current health situation, nutrition, and age. So as you age, these phases tend to get longer. You do start to have thinning hair But that doesn't mean everyone will have thin hair, but you absolutely lose more hair as you start to age, which I'm not that old, so I really shouldn't be experiencing it just yet, but lucky me, I got it early. So guys, making sure you're taking the right nutritional supplements, eating the right kinds of food with the macronutrients you need and the micronutrients you need too, because our hair is basically the food that we eat. It is dead skin cells, and that is all comprised of the food and the nutrition that our body has in it. Now, if you're going through something like an autoimmune disorder like I am, where your hair follicles are being attacked, it's a little bit harder to attack the problem. There are things that you can do to try and extend the anagen phase and reduce the exogen phase. Exogen phase. I don't know why that one was confusing for me for a sec. Things such as oils containing rosemary, peppermint, lavender, saw palmetto, stinging nettle. Those are all really great for hair, and it helps to reduce the shedding by blocking certain substances in the hair follicles, creating a healthy scalp environment, but also blocking DHT from the scalp. Now, in addition to that, there's things that you can take like teas and vitamins that also come into play in all of this that can be extremely helpful for, again, boosting that anagen phase and reducing that exogen phase. I know it to be true just because when I started my hair loss journey, I searched so ridiculously much. Like, I probably know way too much about hair at this point. But the more I searched, the more I realized there are natural supplements and natural things you can do to promote hair growth and stop hair loss. And so I created them for myself, and they've actually been really amazing for me so far. Now, I did just create a little Etsy shop. I am a small business, and it's solely surrounding hair loss stuff. So teas that you can drink, I always drink my own hair tea, which blocks DHT from the inside out and helps balance out the endocrine system and the hormones and all these other things, block inflammation in the body and kind of reset the immune system. Has been working for me. Again, I use that in combination with my oils. And guys, if you want to check that out, I will put a link below as well as an overlay up here to my shop. My ingredients are completely organic, completely fair trade, certified to the T. Like, the most expensive things that I could buy, I bought, just because I literally, once I started my hair loss journey, I grasped for anything and everything that could potentially save my hair. And I'm on this journey. I know I'm not alone. And no matter how much it sucks, right, there's always a silver lining. I sure hope, at least. So if you guys like this video, make sure to click the like, the subscribe, and comment below. I am trying to promote this video so that other people like you and me can both help ourselves save our body from trying to excrete more hair than is supposed to be excreted. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day.